going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you follow Nigerian politics at all, the last few days have been absolutely explosive. Inec just made a move that has sent shockwave through the entire political landscape. And with 2027 elections right around the corner, this story is bigger than most people are paying attention to. We are talking about the removal of former Senate President David Mark as ADC National Chairman, the fiery press conference that followed, and the reactions that have come pouring in from lawyers, opposition figures, and even government ministers. So grab something to sit down and let us break this all down for you. First, the background, because you cannot understand this story without knowing what led to it. The leadership crisis in the ADC began after members of the Raf Okenwosu-led executive committee resigned and ratified the appointment of a new National Working Committee led by Senator David Mark during a National Executive Council meeting on July 29, 2025. Now, here is where things immediately get complicated. Nafiu Bala Gombe, who was the party's vice national chairman, rejected the development, insisting he never resigned and that he should automatically assume leadership following Wosu's exit, in line with the party's constitution. So Gombe went to Federal High Court in Abuja, seeking to stop Mark's group from parading themselves as party leaders and asking the court to compel Inec to recognize him instead. Mark's camp fought back at the Court of Appeal, arguing that the lower court had no jurisdiction over the matter. The appeal court disagreed, dismissed Mark's appeal, and orders all parties to maintain the status quo while the case continued. That ruling, delivered on March 12, is what set off everything that followed. On April 1, 2026, INEC made its announcement. The Electoral Commission said it will remove the names of members of the party's factional National Working Committee, led by Mark, from its official portal, in compliance with the court's directive to maintain the status quo ante bellum. The decision meant INEC will no longer recognize anyone as an executive member or leader of the party, pending the final determination of the case before the Federal High Court in Abuja. And just so nobody misses the point, INEC also refused to allow Nafiu Bala Gombe to take over the leadership of the party, pending the determination of the suit. So it was not a handover. It was a complete shutdown. Nobody recognized. The entire ADC leadership, in the eyes of Nigeria's electoral body, does not officially exist right now. David Mark's response came fast, and it came loud. He held a press conference in Abuja that made headlines across every major Nigerian newspaper, and he pulled absolutely no punches. Leaders of the ADC at the press briefing wondered what President Bola Tinubu is afraid of, despite having 19% of the National Assembly and 30 governors. Mark went straight at the INEC's legal reasoning, saying, "There is no legal interpretation or precedent that could possibly lead to the outcome that INEC seeks to foist on our party." He connected the decision directly to the upcoming state elections, warning that by attempting to subvert the leadership of the ADC, INEC had already undermined the party's participation in the Osun and Ekiti election taking place later in 2026. He announced that the party will not be backing down, stating that Congress will begin on the 9th of April 2026, ending with the National Convention on the 14th of April, despite the fact that INEC has said it will not attend or monitor any of the activities. And then he issued what many are calling the most direct ultimatum of his political career. Mark demanded the immediate resignation or sack of the Inec chairman and all the national commissioners, saying the party no longer have confidence in them and was convinced they were incapable of conducting any credible election. He closed with a defiant statement declaring that the arc of history does not bend towards tyranny, it bends towards freedom. Nigerians will not be silenced. Nigeria will not be conquered. Nigeria is rising. ADC is rising. The legal community was quick to weigh in, and some of the sharpest criticism of Inec came from senior lawyers. Renowned human rights lawyer Barrister Inec Effiong and Barrister Festus Ogun both faulted Inec's decision, which they claimed fails the test of law. Effiong argues that because the Court of Appeal ordered parties to maintain the status quo before the suit was filed, and because David Mark was already the chairman before the suit was initiated, he should logically remain in the position. Ogun went further, pointing to the Electoral Act 2026 itself. He quoted Section 835, which states that no court in Nigeria shall entertain jurisdiction over any suit pertaining to internal affairs of the political party. And Section 83, Subsection 6, which prohibits courts from granting interim or interlocutory injunctions. By those provisions, Ogun argued the entire case should not have been proceeded the way it did, making Inec's compliance with it even more questionable. The political reactions were just as intense. Former IPAC chairman, Chief Peter Ane, described Inec's action as part of a larger plot by the ruling APC to contest the 2027 elections unchallenged, saying Inec had removed every single vestige of impartiality and demonstrated how far it was prepared to go to destabilize the opposition. Professor Chidi Odenkalo, former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, alleged that the decision followed a meeting between the senior Inec leaders and top government officials in the 60 hours leading to the announcement, and made the stating claim that the Inec chairman had allegedly pre-signed a resignation letter as a condition for his appointment. Analyst Farouk Berogi warned that the move could pave the way for political environment where the ruling party faces little or no meaningful opposition, writing that it seemed obvious Tinubu wanted a coronation and not a competitive election in 2027. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, on the other hand, broke from opposition voices entirely. Wike said Inec should have actually recognized Gombe as national chairman, adding that the ADC should be happy Inec did not recognize any of the party members until they sorted out the matter in court. On the streets, security operatives surrounded Inec headquarters in Abuja to avert any protests from rival groups, while a group of youths operating under the name Consigned Nigeria Youth Forum gathered at the commission in solidarity with the decision to delist Mark and Arebo Shola, carrying a banner reading "For a credible process in the best interest of Nigeria." The stakes could not be higher. There are concerns that the ADC may not participate in the 2027 polls should the case linger, and according to the INEC timetable, political parties are required to conduct their primaries between April 23rd and May 30, 2026. The ADC failure to resolve its leadership crisis will mean the APC goes to the polls without a major challenge, as the PDP has seen its membership depleted by mass defection and currently faces a similar leadership crisis of its own. Two of Nigeria's biggest opposition parties, both in chaos, both unable to field a unified candidate, both watching the clock run down to 2027. That is the situation on the ground. Inec says it is following the court. ADC says Inec is lying and acting on government orders. Senior lawyers say the law does not support what Inec did. Protests are happening. Demands for the Inec chairman's head are on the table. And Nigeria's 2027 elections are beginning to look like they will be defined not by campaigns and debate, but by courtrooms and political crises. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Inec acted within the law? Or is this a coordinated move to weaken the opposition before 2027? Hit the like button if this broke it down for you. Subscribe so you never miss a video. And share this among anyone trying to understand what is really going on in Nigeria right now. Until I see you in